I am really excited to have Janine from Tarot by Janine and Sending Ravens, and my dear friend Rachel from the UK, who introduced me to you, Janine, months and months and months ago, and we've been completely addicted to your videos ever since. They're brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. They're our daily sort of feel-good factor, and it's so interesting.
Yes, we love you. We love you all the way from the UK.
Awesome. That's so exciting. I love the UK. They were my, at the beginning, biggest audience because, of course, I was looking into Meghan and Harry a lot and got into some big trouble doing that. But
oh, really? Gosh.
I persevere.
Yes, gosh, what an interesting. Well, when I listened to a bit of your stuff that you posted today about the royals, and we could do a whole year of shows on those, couldn't we? Really?
Oh my goodness, yeah.
It's so lovely to see you. I mean, you are literally the most wonderful, grounded lady as well. So you know,
awesome.
you're like a mum or a nana or something on, you know,
right?
Yeah, because
I am a mum.
Are
you? Not a nana yet.
Not yet. But you will be at some point, hopefully.
I hope so.
Yeah, me too. I've got the Shetland pony waiting. You see,
yeah.
Catherine is our Dr. Dolittle for the UK. She really is. She's the most amazing animal person in the world.
Ooh,
yeah,
wonderful.
She helped fix my racehorse. I rescued a racehorse. And fixed him in a couple of days, and I was hooked with all the natural stuff. And I mean, it's
that's wonderful.
Now. Absolutely, yeah. So she's Catherine and her myriad of animals, basically. Then you've got your cats as well.
I got my kitties. Yeah.
I
love dogs too. I love dogs. I love horses. But I just can't really have a dog because I'm not the type that I would neglect the dog, not on purpose. I need super independent kids, and I got those, and I need super independent animals, and dogs aren't always that independent.
Yeah.
Too true. And cats are very, very good at looking after themselves.
I think cats have servants, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm okay to be their servant as long as they don't expect me to walk them and hang out with them all the time. We're good.
Absolutely. But the Egyptians were really into cats, weren't they?
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, they considered them like sort of royalty almost, right? Otherworldly. There's something otherworldly about cats.
Oh, they really are. I mean, they're just their connection to everything on all realms is amazing.
Yeah.
So today we've got a couple of questions for you, which you can answer your own. Rachel, do you want to go first?
Well, I mean, there is so much interesting stuff happening at the moment, and you know, I think a lot of people are kind of losing hope in things, and it's so amazing to see all the evidence out there. You know, there is a lot changing, and it's following the money. You know, everything is corrupted by money, and we don't need the system at all any longer. So very exciting as to what's going to come ahead. But I was actually wondering on our DNA front. You know, is because everything happens for the world, and everything is happening for a reason. But in terms of kind of, you know, not just the UK, and I'd love to do more on the UK as well, but, you know, is our DNA changing? Because we've got, you know, 2 strands of DNA, and it should be 12, 24. You know, there's different theses and understandings of what our, you know, what our abilities are, and, you know, connection. So there's a lot more, you know, depends how many rabbit holes you've been down.
Right. Should we ask the cards?
Yes, that would be amazing. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun? Okay. So let's see what we get here. Ooh, right off the bat, the Magician on the bottom. I always like to check what's on the bottom of the deck because it's a little clue as to what's coming. So I always check the bottom.
Amazing.
Okay, so we've got the 7 of Pentacles. So that's a patience card, and oh my, absolutely changes are coming over time. So this card takes time.
Okay.
So over time, and it started out slowly, but then this is the next card. all of a sudden we're quantum leaping. So this card's literally like a spiritual quantum leap, because wands could be spiritual energy. It's fire. So if you think about fire, the element of fire, that could be very, it took a long time to get here, because pentacles are slow moving. Earth, pentacles are earth, the element of earth, the element of fire, but it's speeded up. So maybe the astrological lineup has speeded up and we're quantum leaping now. So we're at various points in human history, I believe, or just history of the world even, things quantum leap, and all of a sudden, like, so they take a long, long time to get to a certain point, and then something just triggers it. And that's what's going on. So absolutely, we are changing. We're going to have more available to us as a being, more energy available.
When you say wands, I've always thought of hands as wands to a certain extent, because you make your food, you know, and you create your intentions, you manifest in that sense.
Oh, that's a good one. I like it. And if you think about it, the magician, see what he's doing? So one of his hands, that one, is an extension of his wand, or his wand's an extension of his hand. So he's holding up his hand and channeling through. Wow. So the hand could even be the channel. And then he's manifesting on the earth plane. So it's coming through here and through his body, and then it comes out the other hand. So when I want to do something, I often get in the stance of the magician. I put one hand up to the universe and I imagine channeling universal energy, and then it coming out my other hand. So it becomes, so like heaven becomes earth, or same as above, same below. So I'm channeling that energy to do the thing I want. That's one of my rituals that I do around bringing positive energy. And of course, ritualing is a good practice, as long as you're using integrity and doing for good, obviously. Yeah, so you're right.
Well, yeah.
Arms are maybe our wands. Absolutely. It's wonderful. I never thought of it. Yeah, I never thought of it exactly like that, but
wow. Because I mean, there's going to be, I think, a lot of community work and things coming along, you know, once things really change, the grants, however you see it in that sense, there's going to be a lot of change. Wow. Well, I like the magician, and then the wands.
So that's a really good one for everyone when they need some positivity and they're manifesting.
Yep.
Thank you. Ooh, Catherine, you go.
So my question, because this is coming up for all of us at the moment, is can we still trust the plan?
Okay, good one. Yeah.
Is it trust the plan or trust the military?
I think it's part of the plan, right?
Trust the plan. That's part.
Let's have a look. Surrender. So we're right here now. We're surrendering because we all feel like nothing's going on and we're in the dark. This card surrenders and gives up any kind of, they don't know something, so they just give it up. Swords in tarot are thoughts and words. So we've surrendered because we don't have like definitive evidence. You know, we just have a plan that a lot of people talk about, but we don't have anything entirely definitive, right? So this is where we are. And here's the plan itself. So the plan's not coming up as the devil, the magician, or any manipulating card. It's coming up as a very solid, this woman's very solid. In fact, the way you described me, the way you see me, is exactly this card. She's very grounded. She's like a nana to others. She's comforting. If she's well aspected, she's loving, and she receives and patiently waits. You see how she's manifested that pentacle there? She knows she's a manifester and she's worthy, and she manifests by trusting. So she doesn't take action. She's sitting. She knows and trusts and knows that she manifests through her thoughts and words. So that's how she's manifested. So this is a patience and perseverance and trusting card. And the plan is absolutely solid with that. And it's to nurture humanity somehow. And it's interesting because every time I get cards around the plan, it comes up feminine. And I really believe it's like a coming back of the divine feminine, a bringing back balance to a more positive feminine energy. that's been really lacking.
Wow.
Interesting that possibly the militaries is what bringing that. That's very interesting. So let's have a look. So this is between those two. So this card is like the Lovers, which is about balance. So we have to keep our balance right now, and we have to look at both sides because there's a lot in play with this card. It can be very complicated when it's not talking about a love affair. And obviously we weren't asking about a lovership. So it's not, we have to think about the card in a different way. It's a Gemini card. So information, number 6 is the month of Gemini, June. So we're talking about information. This is an information war. So there's so much information coming from both sides that could be false. Here's the outcome. So this card's the way I'm pulling them, this is us. This is the plan itself. So it's obviously trustworthy. What's between us and the plan was the Lovers. Here's what's coming. What can we expect? So the 8 of Pentacles. Pentacles is very, very, well, it's an earth element. So and this guy, look at him. We're 80% through something when you get this card. The guy's been working super hard on those pentacles. He's got all kinds of them already finished. They almost look like hubcaps, right? So he's got all of these wares. So he's done 80% of the work and he's almost finished, and he's been working really hard. And the card actually indicates something done really well. So they're trying to do the plan, like they don't want to mess up because they never want this to happen again to humanity, not on their watch, whoever they are, the alliance, the white hats / you know what I mean? Because in the past, when there was a takedown, it would have been in maybe the French Revolution, right? They kind of took down what they thought was the ruling class, right? Which maybe they didn't even know entirely that they were that back in those days, that was the deep state, the bad words I can't say on, the dark cult, we'll call it. That was them. That's who those people were. They might not have known that for sure, but they were taking those elites down, but they didn't think it through. And they ended up within years, they had to sell back all the properties they confiscated, regular people confiscated, because they didn't know how to manage the monies and the behind the scenes thing. So now they were broke, but they were living in these empty palaces and they didn't know how to maintain them. So they had to sell them all back. So that time it didn't work. This time they're trying to do it so it actually works. And it looks like it's going to happen. So I'd say absolutely yes, the plan's in play.
So they're very perfectionist, aren't they? The way that last card, it's very perfectional.
Oh yeah,
like trophies all the way up.
Oh yeah, this guy's really good at what he does. Yep.
Is this where, say, the masculine is bringing the feminine, back in? Because
it's interesting.
Very masculine. Yeah,
it is interesting. But think about it, like the pages and soldiers in ancient times devoted themselves. If there was a queen, they'd have devoted themselves to her. So I think it's sort of fitting that the military is helping, like a military, like somehow they say that this alliance, I mean, there's so many ideas about who they are, but these white hats, they're at least past military and even intelligence peoples that have long known these things that go on and got together from all over the world, apparently not just from the US, and they're working together with probably some civilian as well, but you can tell there's obviously military involved, obviously, to be able to do the stuff they do and go into those tunnels and dumbs and whatever, and even to know, and they got the intelligence apparently from military, because the kind of intelligence that was being used by the dark cult, we'll call it, or the deep state, got in the hands of the military. So this section of the military who saw the corruption took it and ran with it on the sly, apparently. And they've been working on this for 20 years, or at least could be longer. So they've collected people over time who may have worked in the military, but they've also, and maybe it was even started by otherworldly and off-planet peoples.
Wow.
Good ones. So this is what they say is made up of what makes up the alliance.
There's so many levels to it, though, aren't there?
Yeah.
Not just military is what we see.
Yeah.
But there must be, because there's other earthly beings, whether you call them earthly or, outer spacey. I think it's just a galactic party, isn't it? That's really what's like. No one's ever seen this in the galaxy happen before, so we've got to watch this show.
Yeah,
certainly our cats can see them all, that's for sure.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Wow, that's really encouraging, isn't it, Janine? That's really encouraging. I think particularly for people at the moment where, it's just been so long and so many deadlines have been and gone. Look, guys, 80% there. Keep with it. Fantastic. Have you got time for another question, Janine?
Sure, let's do it.
Go on, Rachel. I know you've got loads.
I've got so many. But I think it would be quite pertinent to ask, and I've been doing some energy work with kind of timeline and the emergency broadcast, essentially this ethereal thing that keeps flicking out of everybody's view. And there's so many different dates given by different people, but it would be so wonderful to find out, is there a when in the UK? I think things will happen in a very similar timeline to the US and probably for the rest of the world, but in the UK specifically, I'd love to ask, when this emergency broadcast potentially. Ooh, the Fool.
So we've got the Fool, which is like, we don't know. And we feel like we're being told it was this time, it was that time. We feel like fools because we've been told many times when it's supposed to happen and then it doesn't and everybody gets upset. Here's the thing itself. So they're being very covert about that. They might even be putting out false information because don't forget, everybody's watching these channels and especially the dark side, right? The bad side. Yeah. So they're watching it as well. So the black hats are watching it. So this is covert. So they're not going to tell us. I think it's just going to happen. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. The Wheel of Fortune. It's going to happen when you least expect it, right out of the blue. And definitely all the times they tell us it's going to happen won't be when it does. Okay. So if everybody remembers that, if they say Saturday at 6, it's not going to be Saturday at 6. Okay. Because why would they say that if it's a covert operation? Okay. So let's look at, so it's imminent though. It's imminent with that ace. Aces are, so they're planning to have it. In fact, it was already meant to go ahead, but they had to step away from the plan. This card steps away from something. All right. It feels like it has to go away. Something might have happened. Don't forget, we're in a moving operation that's literally like a wartime. It's war against deep state. So there's covert things going on and they're not going to spell it out when. And in fact, they could even be putting out false alarms to get everybody, like looking over here while they're doing something over there. So keep that in mind. They're trying to do it. It's like every day, I believe, and maybe hourly, they have check-ins to see if it's a good time. Like, I feel like this could happen any moment in the next month, maybe even sooner.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
I'm such an impatient person, and that's probably the biggest thing I've learned over the last 6 months is it's really, really important to be patient because timing is everything,
Yeah.
So, yeah. Wow. That's fantastic. Well, you're all right with one final question for me, Janine?
Sure.
Right. Okay. Let me look at my list and see, because again, I've got loads, but I suppose what's coming to the forefront for me is the good white hat financial reset going to happen?
Okay. That's a good one. So that's it's the intention and it's already started somewhat. It's a page. So pages are similar to wands. So there feels like a yes element here, but it's a page and it's not a knight, queen, or king. Those are all stages of something. So I think it started already, but beginning stages. So it's already been put into motion, but beginning stages. I mean, they've been saying that it's working alongside the other system. And I think around the time the stock market might really get upset, like could even crash. That'll be the time everyone's going to know about it. So it's already started, but it's very beginning stages of it. And 7, okay, so this is a strategy card. So remember that swords are thoughts and words. Okay, so look at this guy. He strategically keeps moving around those swords. Okay, so they're being very strategic about what they're telling people and when they're saying it's happening. It's a moving target here. So this guy keeps changing his thoughts and words because he's trying to keep up with something. Okay, he's trying to keep up with the news or some kind of intelligence he's getting or whatever's happening. So they're being very strategic about it. When they're telling everybody, there's some strategy around that. Okay, but we're really close to the end because this 10, okay, so 10, so something in the background has to end. Okay, well, that's the other system. Okay, because they've been fighting a war against that system and those guys are resisting, hence they've got it all already going. It's even up and running to some degree, but everybody can't know about it. And you know what I mean? They're trying to do it smooth, I guess. So something has to end and something's in the 11th hour. Well, that would be the deep state and the other banking system that we've been ruled by. Yeah. Okay. So they're like juggling. So it's all about timing again. And it's all about, so it's all going hand in hand with, I think, the other stuff that we just asked about. So yes, it's absolutely going. They're going to run side by side, even bumpy. That card's a little bumpy. They might be running side by side already is what I'm getting. So yes, so it's a matter of timing when everybody knows. Because remember, there's a lot of sleeping people. And if they all of a sudden found out their whole, like think about everybody running to the bank or getting their money out of the stock markets or panicking. And the whole thing they were trying to not have happen was panic and chaos. So they're trying their best. There'll still probably be some panic and chaos, but they're trying their best to get the information out other ways, like from truthers, from channels like yours, from channels like mine. I think they've been working on that too. And that's why even that 17th letter of the alphabet was created and the whole plan was let out. So people it could seep into the consciousness of the human race and prepare people on some level, because it's going to be very frightening for the sleepers especially. We're excited about it, but they're going to be freaking out because they don't have the background that people that are watching channels like this have.
We've had time to consider things as well.
Right.
Luxury in that sense. Yeah. What we're going to say to a certain extent.
Yeah. We've been down the rabbit hole. Yeah, down the rabbit hole. That's dangerous. Yeah, I guess you're right. But if they all of a sudden find out what we've taken time to understand and it's ripped sort of into their consciousness, that's going to be really interesting, to say the least.
And on the other side, there is this deep, dark state. And everything is done numerology, numerology, astrology, because they're an ancient being, they've been going for
Absolutely.
a long time.
Oh, yeah.
So it has to work in some way, doesn't it? They must be seriously strategic just for that reason.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, okay, if you think about the esoteric arts, even the word esoteric kind of means you have to be initiated to know this. Okay, so for a long time, most of human history, from what I know, we were barred, regular humans were barred from and told to fear esoteric wisdom like tarot cards, and all this fear was drummed up around anything, and it was considered, witchcraft to the bad and blah, blah. When in fact, it's a way to connect with the bigger universal knowing and to understand our world and ourselves better if we're using it properly. Okay, so, but they were keeping it from us. And now learning it is very important, and learning astrology, numerology, and these white hats obviously have a very good knowledge of it, clearly. And when you look at the 17th letter of the alphabet drops, right? Look at those drops, right? They clearly have a handle on it. So they figured out you have to know that and use that right back at them. What they've been telling us we shouldn't be looking at is exactly what we need to use. That's why I think tarot's the right thing to fight these guys with. That's why I think our intuitions are exactly what we should be sharpening. And that's why we should be looking into all those things that were repressed, astrology, numeral, all of those things should be taught in schools going forward. So this never happens to us again, where our own higher connectedness is taken away from us on every level, spiritually, intuitively, physically, from another entity. And they use it on us. Now we have to know the knowledge to go right back at you. So this doesn't happen again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, perfectly said. Absolutely perfectly said, which is why it's such a well-constructed plan to make sure these steps are in place this time. That's so positive, Janine. Absolutely brilliant. And I think so timely for when people need to pick me up to show, it is. And tuning in, learning to tune in for themselves and not let others sway them off when they feel deep down that they're on track, not to allow others to push them off track again.
Yeah.
Have you got loads of truth community people around you physically, like connecting?
I could count them on one hand and maybe add one. So no. And in fact, most of what I thought were my friends don't even watch any videos I do. Avoid me like the plague.
That sounds
But then
right, they totally avoid me, and I avoid them actually because I'm not prepared to hear their negativity, and I'm very feel so good with what I'm doing. I know it's exactly what, and I check in daily. And the funny thing is I've been reading a lot of those people's cards for 35 years, like over the last 35 years, and all those people I collected and I thought were my friends. I've known them for years and years. And I think they still will be my friend once everything comes out. But it's fascinating to me that there's people I thought were really intelligent and even put on a pedestal for how wise they were, turned out to be not even remotely in tune with this. So I think my vision of what's wisdom has been altered forever. And I'm seeing myself as smarter than a lot of my friends, which is interesting because they don't see it that way. They think I'm nuts. And that's okay. So I can't wait for things to shift because it's kind of lonely.
It jolly well is, and it's probably the loneliest time, and I think more people are actually dying of suicide than they are actually from this, invisible enemy that essentially to a certain extent doesn't exist. There's looking in the UK at the Office of National Statistics, the deaths are exactly the same in total.
Right. And all of a sudden, at least in North America, they stopped counting flu. Used to be there was a flu count, and all of a sudden this year it's like the flu was wiped out. Oh, but there's all of these deaths that happened for the other illness. Okay, come on. We obviously got a weird strain of flu going on, and we've had them before, and this one was manipulated by humans. So what they should absolutely really be focusing on, never mind all these other things, they should be focusing on figuring out who's trying to kill off the human race. Hello.
Absolutely,
right?
Janine, absolutely. And the trouble is they've been building it up for so long because it's our food, it's our water, it's our education, it's our healthcare, it's the divide and conquer attitude. And actually, I hate to admit it, but when you realize our moment in this, you just have to think,
absolutely. That's who they're up against, the alliance, and they have to be at one step ahead of them. So when I find out, if I ever meet an alliance member, oh my goodness, I don't put anyone on a pedestal because I've never been like that, but I definitely have great gratitude for anybody or human race. And I've actually thought that since I was little. So it's like, those people are my people. They're my tribe.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you so much. I mean, honestly, I can't thank you enough for joining us today, because you've got a huge following in our crowd. And yeah, so thank you so much for all the work you do, because certainly it's my daily lift me up, I must say. I can't wait for videos to show. Yeah.
And let's do this again.
We'd love to. We'd absolutely love to.
And at some point also, you know, there are going to be lifts of travel, etc. So you'll have to pop over to the UK and come and visit us.
It's definitely on the list. Absolutely. I want to do a road trip to the States for sure, because I've got huge US. And you know what's weird? Canadians are always like in the news and everything. They're kind of hard on people from the States. So are lots of people around the world. I find them to be so much different once they became, you know, my community was developing. I found people all over the world to be incredibly different than it was said that they were, actually. So UKers, they have the best sense of humor in all the comments. They're the funniest, really dry sense of humor, and they're holding the line like really good. US holds the line really good, and they're like so kind, very different than you would think, or they've been said to be. And I think they're amazing. And Australians, oh my goodness, they're like the sweetest. Like, I don't think I get any thumbs down from Australians, and I'm just guessing, but they're like the kindest, and they cut you the most slack. Yes, the Canadians are the toughest bunch. Oh man,
where do you live?
I'm in Canada.
I know.
And the Canadians are absolutely hard on me, but maybe it's just that. Oh, by the way, there's some fantastic Canadian viewers, and I'm not trying to, but I'm just saying, generally speaking, they're the tough bunch.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, it's near, the end is near. Thank you so much for your time, and we would love to do this again, Janine.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'll put all the links to your website and obviously your YouTube channels below. So if there's anything else you want me to include, please just send it across.
Okay. And you send this link and I'll put it up on mine.
Yeah, I will. Thank you.
Good.
Have a wonderful rest of the day. Take care. Bye.
Take care, ladies.